I'm Lieutenant Commander Joe Baggett, Prospective Executive Officer for the USS Jason Dunham. I've been asked to give a speech or opening remarks for our ship's return port visit to its sponsor city. Mr. Mayor, Navy League partners, guests, officers, and crew of the USS Dunham, good morning, and thank you for being here today. I am deeply proud and honored to stand here today to represent my sailors, by far the greatest and most special group of young men and women that I've had the pleasure of serving with over my 20-year naval career. It is great to be back here in Port Everglades, the place where the great journey of the USS Jason Dunham began just a little over 3 years ago, her commissioning. You know, a ship's commissioning is that official act or ceremony of placing a Navy warship into active service. Well, it was right here in Fort Lauderdale, Port Everglades, back in November of 2010, when that journey of life and service began for Jason Dunham. We could not have asked for a better beginning. The people of this great city opened not just their doors, but their hearts to the family and crew of the Dunham, giving us the beginning that would anchor and provide a foundation of excellence that continues today. And for your wonderful hospitality then and your continued support now, we thank you. You know, a ship's true essence lies in her namesake. So I want to take just a minute just to take us back to reflect on how this ship came to be named, because I feel we must never forget. You know, it was April 14th, 2004, when Corporal Jason Dunham, a 22-year-old Marine from Scio, New York, was conducting a routine reconnaissance mission in Kabul, Iraq, with his squad, when his battalion commander's convoy was ambushed and came under heavy fire. When Corporal Dunham's squad approached to provide fire support, an Iraqi insurgent leapt out of an adjacent vehicle and attacked Corporal Dunham. As Dunham wrestled the insurgent to the ground, he noticed that the enemy fighter had a grenade in his hand, so he immediately alerted his fellow Marines. Then, when the enemy insurgent dropped the live grenade, realizing that there was no time to escape, Dunham took off his Kevlar helmet, covered the live grenade, and then threw himself over top of it to smother the blast. In his ultimate selfless act of courage, in which he was mortally wounded, he saved the lives of 2 fellow Marines. And it was because of this heroic and selfless sacrifice that in 2006, President Bush awarded Dunham the Medal of Honor. He was the first Marine awarded the Medal of Honor for Operation Iraqi Freedom, and the first since the Vietnam War. Then on March 20th of 2007, Secretary of the Navy, Donald Leonard, designated DDG-109, the Navy's 59th Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, to be named the USS Jason Dunham. Then just 2 years later, on Saturday, November 13th, 2010, the Navy commissioned its newest Arleigh Burke destroyer, USS Jason Dunham DDG-109, during a ceremony right here in Port Everglades, Florida. You know, the bravery and courage that Corporal Dunham displayed on that fateful day in April of 2004 continues to serve as a guiding principle and inspiration to the ship and her crew. Since the last time you saw us, though, we've conducted countless operations and have successfully completed numerous missions. But most recently, our most significant is the completion of our maiden deployment. Departing Naval Station Norfolk in August of 2012 and returning on April 5th of 2013, the 9-month deployment took Jason Dunham to the U.S. 5th and 6th Fleet areas of responsibilities, where we support maritime security operations, we promoted theater security cooperation efforts, and we conducted missions in support of Operation Enduring Freedom as part of the Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group. You know, deployment is a great strain on the ship, her crew, and their families. But it's this group of men and women standing behind me with the support of all those back on the shore that made the difficult look easy. They proved the impossible possible, and they served their country with pride, and they truly embodied and honored the same courage and honor that Corporal Dunham displayed on that fateful day in Iraq. There are many more operations to come for the USS Dunham, and while we cannot predict with any degree of certainty what the future will bring, one thing we can be certain of is that with the continued support of our family and friends, and also like that for which the great people of this city have shown and continue to show, we will be ready. So as I begin to wrap up, I want to thank the committee one last time for all the great events that we have planned for this port visit. From the welcome reception tomorrow night, to the charity 5K run, the Comro project at the elementary school, in which I have 50 of my sailors to take part in tomorrow, to the flight deck reception on our last day in port. We have planned for our final night. You all have truly put together what I will consider a wonderful homecoming. So thank you again, Fort Lauderdale, for not only this week, but for the great beginning as well. whether for a massive nuclear aircraft carrier, a destroyer, submarine, or amphibious type ship, the brief but impressive commissioning ceremony completes the cycle from christening and launching to full status as a ship in the United States Navy. So to all who must know, this is where the journey began. This is where Deborah, the mother of Jason Dunham, gave the order for the crew to man the ship and bring her to life. So this is truly a homecoming, and we thank you. That's it. I'll take questions if I have.
Sir, Captain Devine from the local Navy League. I know we do some things with the ship, but it's kind of interspersed, and we'd like to get more involved, specifically sponsoring some of your sailors. Can you tell me what we can do to help the sailors, what we can do to help the ship to provide some services to you all?
You mean while we're here, or when we go away?
While you're here, but you know, to continue a relationship throughout the time while you're here back in Norfolk on deployment.
Right. Well, you know, I have a coordinator for while we're here in port. I'll have him get in contact you after this this brief session, and we can talk about more things to do while we're here in port. But also put you in contact with my Command Master Chief and my Executive Officer, who can put you in contact with the Family Readiness Group back home, and we can help better coordinate how the Navy League here can coordinate with the group back in Norfolk, and together we can continue to do things for the crew.
Great, thank you.
John Hurst from the Broward County Commerce Division. Question about Fleet Week this past year was canceled due to fiscal reasons. We lost nearly $10 million in expected commerce coming into the ships that we visited along with the following air show. Is there any expectation that we're going to have participation next year from the Navy?
It's a great question, John, and you're right. It's a great tragedy. I've been in many Fleet Weeks in my career, and they're a good time. But I can't comment on whether the Navy is going to commit to those again in the future. I just don't know. But what I can tell you is, you know, if we're lucky enough to come back here, we will put on a show like we're doing during this port visit, and we'll support the city just as you guys have supported us in the past.
We're hoping to see you guys back soon.
And we're hoping to come back soon. We love coming here.
Sir, Dave from the Port Everglades Seafood Festival Times magazine. Understanding the perspective of executive officer, why didn't the captain come out today?
The captain was tied up with another high value, I guess, how do you want to put it, high value meeting that he had to attend to. So he sent me out today to talk to you guys.
Sir, Susie Jones, my daughter is in high school and thinking about enlisting in the Navy. But one of the things that I've been nervous about and talking to her about joining the Navy is all the issues with sexual assault and sexual harassment. Could you comment on what the Navy is doing to keep my daughter safe if she enlists and goes out onto a ship?
You know, it's a great question, and what I can tell you is that, you know, the Navy is taking the problem of sexual assault very seriously. We are doing, we're instituting programs and extensive training for our sailors and their families on how to recognize instances, how to report instances, how to handle instances once they occur. I think you know, we have a ways to go, but I think the Navy is making great strides, and I think that your daughter can feel very safe in joining today's Navy because of some of the steps that we've taken and put in place.